Welcome to day one of rebuilding this tiny guitar. This here is a Harmony. It's a half-size guitar, and the reason I've got it is because it's broken at the 14th fret there. So let's see what I do with it. He's broke, and that fret is missing. And I had this little idea of, hey, why can't I use this in place of a cigar box guitar? My idea is to replace this circular area with something that will act as a resonator. I started this first step in front of a heater. The first reason was because it was cold that day and my hands were cold. And the second was because I wanted the adhesive on the pick guard to release. I've sped up the film here because it's not really exciting. I'm just heating up the pick guard and working at peeling it off. So in this next part here, I have the pick guard off. With the pick guard off, it left behind this sticky residue. I'm able to remove the residue just by rubbing my finger over it. It kind of pills or balls up, and so I've sped up the film here because, again, it's not a whole lot of exciting watching me peel off the residue. Here we have some measurements for the guitar. 14 inches long, wide at the base there, 11 inches, 7.5 inches on the shoulders with a 2.5 inch sound hole. The neck to the 12th fret measures just a little over a 9.5 inches, and then another 9.5 inches gives us just a little over 19 inches. The next step is to remove the neck of the guitar. Now, I had watched many YouTube videos about how the dovetail joint fits on most guitars, but it turned out that this guitar did not have a dovetail joint. It has 3 dowels holding it. Somebody has done some work on this guitar before. You see the foaming type of glue there, and it has done some damage to the gel coat or the clear coat. So my original thought was to use steam to remove the neck, but when I discovered it's just the dowels, I kind of used the looseness of the neck to my benefit. Well, that actually didn't take long at all. I'm going to wind up having this neck off in a short amount of time, and I'm probably not even going to have to remove that part of the fingerboard. That's just a guess right now though, so let's see what happens. Okay then, 3 dowels. I have successfully removed the adhesive from where the pick guard was, and it really didn't do too bad of a job. Rather than some sort of harsh cleaner, I think I'll just use my standard guitar top cleaner and polisher. The next step I'm going to take on is removing the bridge. The 2 white dots on the outer edge of the bridge are covering up Phillips head screws. It's also glued down, but it's real easy to remove with a little heat and some thin pry bars. Using a dental pick that I have, I was able to remove the white cap and expose the Phillips head screw. I'm going to use it to remove this other white cap. One thing I did notice about this bridge is a crack running down the length. It's actually connecting, you can see there, all 6 of the pins. So we won't be reusing this bridge, but here I'm digging into that plastic top and it just pops right off. I know I'm getting way ahead of myself, but let's see what happens when I unscrew the bridge. So, surprisingly, that is a long screw. Okay. I'm going to warm up the bridge and work at peeling it off. While the bridge and the face of the guitar is warming up, I decided to clean up the neck of the guitar a little bit. Here I've cleaned up this quite a bit, and this dowel is actually glued in quite well. It won't come out. So at this point, unless I need to replace these dowels or drill the holes out a little bigger, I won't take this one out. This one's good and solid, and I'll use this kind of as a guide to keep me in the right spot. I will take off some of the glue residue and just clean it up a little bit more. Be able to get my little spatula critter and work it in here at the edges. Oop, I can hear it giving. You can see it work its way in. Yeah, the glue's given. And I just don't want this to slip and do a gigantic damage. So if you decide to do something like this, use the appropriate amount of pressure, but don't really jam at it. It just takes a little bit of patience, and you'll work it through. Gonna get through here in a second. I'm expecting it to pop any. There we go. Yeah. Nice. So, there we go. I've reached the next phase where I'm gonna put glue on the this body here where the net connects. Now, this dowel in here is solid. The dowel in the neck of the guitar is solid. This is the only dowel that moves. So I'll just have to make sure I don't lose it. But for the moment, this step just requires a lot of this laminate that's right here. A whole bunch of laminate has peeled up when this neck broke. And so I'm going to get a bunch of glue down into there and squeeze it shut. Okay, we've got all the glue in there. Put a little piece of paper down here so I don't mess up my tabletop.
And now clamp this into place. I see glue oozing. That's a nice sign.
Definitely would be better if I owned wood clamps. Maybe should have thought of that before I started the project. Well, just doing this to have fun.
All right. Now we just leave that to dry.
I added an extra clamp up there, but really these photos are to show you I have decided to use a paint can lid as a resonator for the future hole in the guitar. And these photos show the approximate placement that lid will be. Here we are with the neck glued back on. It's only just glued back on, so we're going to leave this for a few days to dry up. It's not pretty, but hopefully it will be functional.